All right, guys, in this training video, I'm going to go over the essentials of the cash flow sales and negotiation system. And this is very, very, very important because really this business comes down to marketing for motivated sellers, right? 2, going and negotiating the deal. And 3, finding a tenant buyer. In all 3 phases, you are going to be negotiating and selling. And so you got to go out there and have fun. You got to go out there and feel good about yourself. And you got to go out there and spend your time with the most motivated prospects so you can make the most money. And so that's why I invented and refined the cash flow sales and negotiation system. And all of these tips that I've learned are from various sales books that I've read, all various trainings that I've been to. Both inside and outside of real estate. I spent a lot of time with Pfizer Pharmaceuticals, one of the best training organizations in the world. And they taught me a lot of this stuff along with my initial sales mentor, Derek Clark and Sean Gallipo. So thank you very much, gentlemen. Also, Peter Conti and David Finkel have some great negotiation material also. So I'm going to talk about over the years how I've refined this, and this has worked really well for my business. And if you can master this, if you can master this skill, finding and negotiating deals will be very easy. Now, this doesn't come overnight, I promise you. You have to go out there and talk to people and put this stuff into practice and hone your skills. But once you do that, man, you'll be unstoppable. So this is it in a nutshell. The cash flow sales and negotiation system is an acronym, okay? Cash flow. So here we go. First, C stands for calling. Now, I know that sounds elementary, but to really, for this technique to work, you have to have lots of leads, right? There's got to be some kind of scarcity for your motivated seller. So if you don't have enough prospects, if you're not calling enough people, guess what? It's not going to work. You got to have leads so that you can turn somebody away, so that you could walk away, so that you can get rid of your prospect if they're not going to basically be able to do business with you today. So get on the phone, go out and send mailers out, go out and network, go out and put some signs out. Just get your marketing going so that you can put this technique into practice. The second part of this system is A, asking questions. And I'm going to go over each one of these and I'm going to put them into place. But when you're talking to your prospects, okay, you don't want to stick a square peg into a round hole. Meaning that if they tell you under no circumstances do they want to deal with a tenant, right? They don't want to be a manager. Then there's no way that you should try to sell them on a lease purchase assignment. That's where you find a tenant buyer for them and turn that contract over to them. That's not a good fit. You're not solving their problem. A better alternative may be to lease the property from them and sublet so they don't have to deal with the property. Or possibly offering to buy the property with some kind of owner finance terms or a subject to transaction. But think about what your prospect is saying. Ask the right questions. And if you do that, okay, if you ask the questions, that is going to give you 2 advantages. Number 1 is you're going to find out what your prospects want. But 2, you're going to be controlling the negotiation, meaning that they're not going to be asking you a bunch of questions, asking you about your credit, asking you about your experience, asking about the tenant that you're going to be putting in the place. You want to put all of the really all of the pressure and all of the questioning on them. Ask them the questions and get them doing most of the talking. A good salesperson knows that the prospect does most of the talking, so get them talking. Okay, S, sorry, I can't do business with you. Now, a lot of people will disagree with this, but I'm a firm believer in only doing prospects who are ready to do business today. And if someone is rude, if they're condescending, if they're being difficult, or you just don't like them, guess what? Get rid of them. Get rid of the prospects. Say, you know what? Sorry, I can't do business with you today. I have too many prospects. So if you're not doing step 1, you're going to be scared to do step 3. Okay, and here's the key. You don't want to spend time with unmotivated prospects. because of the fact is that your motivated prospect is out there and you want to do business today, you want to collect a check today, and you want to be able to quit your job or escape the rat race or make more money, whatever that is, today and not a month from now. And so get off the phone with the unmotivated prospects. You will not do business with them anyway, no matter how hard you work. Now, H, have fun. Now, this all, correlates into this. And you may say, well, Todd, that's easier said than done. No, if you are hanging up on your unmotivated prospects, I don't mean rudely, but saying, hey, you know what? I can't do business. Or you're controlling the conversation and you have so many prospects out there that you're not scared, you're going to be having fun. If you make a mistake or you mess up or you sound like an idiot, you know what? It doesn't matter. The only point here is that you're out here to try to help people, and that's fun in itself. And if someone doesn't see that, get out of there. Laugh at yourself, and that is perfectly okay. Laugh at yourself and just have fun. I promise you that sales calls won't go exactly as I'm showing you in this training. Right? I guarantee that you're going to flub up something, and that's okay. I still do it all the time in my business, but you got to laugh it off and just move on to the next one. The second part of this acronym is F, floor your prospect with honesty. Don't try to hide anything. It's much easier to negotiate when your prospect knows A, you're an investor, B, that you are going to be assigning or subletting your contract, and C, that you are going to be making a handsome profit. You do not need to excuse yourself or apologize for making money. And all of a sudden, once your prospect knows, all of those things, and you're telling them the truth, and they know that you're a straight shooter, and they get your vibe, and you're telling them things that they thought that you'd never tell them, like, Mr. Motivated Seller, I need to make at least $10,000 to make this worth my time. Knowing that, can we do business today? Or would that prevent us from doing business? And they're going to be like, whoa, I don't expect you to be that blunt. Or, for example, if a motivated seller tells me, hey, you know what, send over that contract so that my attorney can look it over. I'm not going to say, okay. I'm going to respond back and say, Mr. Seller, I can appreciate that. Most times when somebody says that to me, it usually means that they're just not ready to do business and that they need to think about it. Is that the case here? Or do you really need to pass this by your attorney? So hit your prospect with honesty right between the eyes. Tell them what you're thinking. Be honest, and they will respect you for it. And I'm going to go through a bunch of role plays and all these other videos, but this is just an overview. L, laugh at yourself. It's the same exact thing. I promise you. You got to go out there and laugh at yourself. Sometimes if the negotiation is not going like you think it is, sometimes just throw in a crazy statement in there. For example, one time a motivated seller was telling me that he didn't want to give me any of the option money. And I said, okay, I'll let you keep all the option money I collect from my buyer if you let me keep 50% of the rent. And I was expecting him to say, no way, right? I was expecting him to hang up. And I was almost laughing on the phone that I even had the gall to ask for this. There's no way I thought he'd say yes. And he comes back, and by the way, I'm really like holding my hand over my mouth. And he says, I'll give you 40%. Okay, now that doesn't happen very often. But the point is, if you're out there and you're being radical and you're just having fun and you're not scared to lose, right? You're playing reckless, man, great things can happen. Maybe reckless is the wrong word. But you're playing like there's no tomorrow, man, you're going to put together killer deals. Oh, open your ears. Your prospect should be doing most of the talking, asking questions. But here's the key. Sometimes your prospects are going to say things, a comment or a question. You got to think to yourself, why are they asking that question? For example, they may say, Mr. Investor, what if the buyer doesn't buy at the end of 3 years? Okay, what if your buyer doesn't buy at the end of 3 years? Now, you may come by and just give an answer right away, right? You may say, oh, well, I could find you a new tenant buyer after 3 years. But the more important thing is you want to ask them why they ask you that question. Well, Mr. Seller, why is it important to you that your prospect or that our tenant buyer buys the property within 3 years? And they may give you an answer that's completely different than what you thought. Maybe they have some tax implications, or maybe they don't want to deal with the property at all anymore, and you could structure a different sale. The point here is listen to what your prospects are saying, and if they ask you a question, don't answer it right away. Ask them why they're asking you that question so you could formulate a solution for them. And this really is a people business, right? Give them a custom, tailored solution, help them with their problems, and everybody will win. And W is work smart. If you're broke and you have no money, you're going to have to make cold calls yourself. But if you can hire a telemarketer initially to make cold calls for you, if you could send out mailings and bandit signs, you are going to be very efficient. Now, working smart is adding all of these things. Don't let people suck your energy out. Don't educate your sellers about the lease purchase process or about selling their property on a rent to own if they're not going to be doing business with you. Spend the time with people who respect your knowledge, time, and energy. So you may be thinking, Todd, okay, this is great theory, and this is an acronym. Remember this stuff, guys. I'd put this on your wall. Cash flow. Think about it. They're basic principles, but I'm going to go through some role plays here, and these are also in your manual, but I'm going to go through these, and I'm going to make some comments after each one of these. And hey, if you got a question or a comment, hey, leave it below one of the videos. I would love to hear from you.